And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another scene for Darkness in Dublin, the Werewolf the Apocalypse venue. Um, we are starting this scene on Sept, the Sept of Forgotten Stories, as a certain Lupus would like to attempt to gain rank. It is a troubling time on Sept and in the city overall, honestly, as there is a major threat outside, but that doesn't stop the day-to-day activities on Sept. The Alpha has not put out any sort of rule against making challenges like this during essentially wartime. Um, so, and honestly, the more powerful Garu we have, the better. So, um, yeah, so we'll just pick up with Max. What's he doing?
Max, upon deciding that, well, I say upon deciding, upon the spirits deciding that he's been a good enough boy to the point where he can possibly challenge for the rank of Fostran, he is going to start busying himself, finding an appropriate Garu of same rank, well, the rank that he'd like to challenge for, and obviously the same auspice as he. Because reasons, and also because Philodox and all that. Yes, he
Well,
will
he's
probably
hung.
have to. Yes, he'll probably have to sniff around a place a little bit, but
Well, he's hung around the Cubs enough to know that the dead mother, Dazzles, has a son. Well, she has two kids who are twins, but she has a son who is a Shadow Lord Philodox, and he is a Fostern. And since most Garu and kinfolk are on Sept right now, um, he's not too hard to find. He's around the Cub area, helping take care of kinfolk and stuff like that. So,
okay.
I will put up his overlay.
Okay. And yes, upon finding them, he will, well, depending on what they're doing, probably will determine how Max will approach this whole thing.
I will say right now he is outside pulling weeds out in the garden.
Okay. And assuming Max is like outside of the confines of the garden, he will probably, hop up with his front paws onto the top of the fence wall, whatever that's dividing the garden from what is not the garden, as it were.
It would be a short fence.
Yes, that's all right for him. He will just like pop up on there, and he'll just call out, "What are you doing, quiet voice of reason, Raya?"
He looks up and sees this dog perching on the like paws up on the fence. This is a hilarious visual in my head. He looks up and he sees Max, and he gives him a look similar to what's in his overlay very briefly, and he'll say, I am tending the garden. May I help you with something?
Aye. Can I come in?
Of course. He'll go and
All right.
open the gate for him unless he just wants to jump the fence, which is fine.
Yeah, he'll probably just jump the fence.
All right. So yeah, because he hasn't like left his position of basically on all fours in Hamid. He's got gloves on, pulling weeds, and he's just looking up at Max. So Um, he startles just slightly when Max just hops over the fence.
Yeah, Max, because he's aware that Homids tend to like their gardens, they keep them all very nice and tidy and everything like that. He has no idea why they would do such thing. It's only going to get messy. But then again, Homids, not that you'd actually say that out loud.
Right.
Yes, you would then proceed to try and transverse around the garden, sniffing in the undergrowth for anything interesting.
Right. This particular garden is completely for food and herbs. So it's like there are various different types of root vegetables and things like that planted, and a bunch of different herbs used for cooking and other stuff. So it's not just for pretty flowers. This one is actually has a purpose.
Yes, and once he's managed his way around to a quiet voice of reason, he'll just, upon discovering what the food, what the contents of the garden are, he'll just excuse me, I just had a hiccup there for a second.
Potatoes, carrots, that kind of stuff.
Yes, he'll just simply say, "Is the Homid food still trying to grow?"
Yes, it won't be ready for about another month when we do the harvest.
Hmm.
But I have to keep the weeds from taking over the vegetables that we would like to eat. Otherwise, we won't have a harvest.
Hmm. Do you require assistance removing the weeds?
If you would like to, sure.
Okay. And then Max will attempt to start clawing at the ground by, at least as best as he understands.
He will stop him.
Would do.
Say, no. You have to do it in Hamid with your hands. Otherwise, you're just going to dig up the vegetables, which is counterproductive to what we're trying to do here. Now, when we go to plant stuff again, I will let you come here and dig up the yard for tilling. He nods.
I don't understand why you no use lupus form. It's better for digging.
It sometimes requires a bit more of a delicate touch than what our claws can give, but sometimes I do.
Hmm.
He'll stand up and take his gloves off.
Yeah, Max just sits there looking. Well, because he's never actually done any gardening per se. Well, the only gardens that he's been in have been probably the ones that he got told to get out of.
Right.
Before and after the first change.
Oh, exactly.
Well, what can he say?
Yep.
I mean, regardless of whichever form he takes, he's probably going to be told to get out of one of those if he goes into one. But anyway, yeah. See, then Max then looks up to a quiet voice of reason. I know that there are a lot of problems around the Sipt, but I'm not aware if there's no challenges to be made or challenges to not be made in a state of emergency.
The only challenge that cannot be made during wartime, essentially, is the challenge of leadership. You may not challenge the Sept Alpha during wartime.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
He'll nod. Good. So what challenge would you like to make?
I have spoken to the spirits, or the spirits have spoken to another Gauru who knows spirit speech, and they have spoken to me, and they have said that I'm the goodest boy in the Sipt. So, I would like to...
He gives a slight smirk at that.
So, I would ask quiet voice of reason, Fostrin of the tribe of Grandfather Thunder, to give me the challenge to become Fostrin.
He smiles, and he'll nod. He'll say, "I will accept your challenge." I actually know of a situation that needs to be dealt with, but I can't get away to deal with it. So if you could go deal with it for me, that would be amazing. It is in the city. Actually, since you are of the tribe of Bonars, this should be right up your alley.
This will not be a
No
problem.
pun intended. He shakes his head. Bonars and alleys, whatever. Um, from what I understand, there has been a situation that is a bit of a unique situation. It needs to be handled with more empathy, I would say, than a normal situation of this type. Um, in the city, there has been a metis birth. The circumstances surrounding it, though, well, I think that you should just go and hear her story.
Okay.
I have not been able to get away to help. Normally, I would just, do what needs to be done normally in a situation like this, but it's different. Oh, whatever decision you decide to make, of course, will be respected as long as it's within the purview of the litany, which I imagine it will be. But just go hear her out. She's a Bonar Galliard. I'm not sure what rank she is.
What is the name of this one?
Her name's Annie.
Okay.
And he'll give Max a location. He won't give him an address because he's lupus, so it's just like he just gives him a location to go, which is essentially a very, very small house, like right near the entrance of one of the major entrances of the sewers.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yes, and then he'll then simply say to quiet voice of reason, "I'll be back before you'll go."
He shakes his head.
Actually, no. Better question. He'll simply say he'll do the shepherd, which is ironic considering the character rep. He'll just say,
"Right,
I should go," and then go.
I should go. I was gonna say if you'd stuck with "I'll be back," he was gonna mumble under his breath, "Okay, Terminator." Oh, wait a minute. Anyway, so Max will head into the city. What mode does he use to get there? Is he just going to run in as a dog? Is he going to use the Umbra? How is he going to get there?
Well, he's not daft enough to go running in the city. Even with his good boy form, he's not daft enough to go running in the city. In lupus form, because there's going to be so many people that are going to want to pet him, and it's just going to slow him down.
Right, like he'll never get to this poor girl. Like
no. So I imagine I imagine he probably might. I think he might choose the Umbra because he wants the speed of the Lupus form, but he'd rather not have to. Well, although he's comfortable with going into Homid form and just just walking there,
Right.
but it's going to be a long way in Homid form.
Yeah, and he definitely doesn't know how to fucking drive, so
No, he
like,
doesn't, and he doesn't have the resources in order to pay a bus fare or taxi. In fact, he's
right.
more likely to chase the bus than anything like that.
Right, and I imagine he would not willingly go on any sort of bus or train, like
No,
unless it was a dire situation. Like we have the
yeah,
Umbra, that's what it's for. So okay,
yes,
I'm not gonna make you roll to get across either way. You've got enough gnosis that it's fine. Um, so I'll just it takes you a little while, but in the Umbra, things actually always seem to go faster when you take the Umbra, which is why a lot of people do. It still takes you a good half an hour or so to get into the city um, and get to where you need to go. Imagine you would probably even go into the sewer a little bit, pop sideways in there. Um,
hmm
and then you can come out the entrance. And indeed, just a little ways off, there is a little tiny shack-looking thing, almost like it is very Bonar. It's like a makeshift shanty, even like just some fucking wood and maybe cardboard thrown together to make a little house.
Hmm. Yes, and I'm assuming that Sent to the True Form will reveal the presence of the
Oh yeah.
Garou.
Yep.
Anything
Um,
else? Was that it?
nope, that's it.
Okay.
There's really no one else around. It's just the Garu. There's definitely two of them. He can assume that it is her and her little one.
hmm
Um, and yeah, so however you decide to go about this, there is sort of a. It's not. There's not really a door. It's more like a curtain that's made out of like uh say an old blanket.
Okay. In that case, Max. Well, I'm assuming that we're in the Tellurian at this point.
Oh, yep.
Okay. Yeah, Max will just check to look over his shoulders to see if there's anyone watching before he'll just head up to the blanket curtain type thing.
No, I
I'm
won't
just
make you roll because you're in lupus and you are a lupus. There's nothing out of the ordinary. No one around it shouldn't be anyway. There might be a couple of kinfolk keeping an eye on things, probably more curious than anything else because none of them have probably ever seen a metis before. So we might have to shoo them away. But other than that, there's no like humans or anything.
okay. Right. Well, now that part of the litany will, at least for now, not be broken, Max will announce his presence by way of just doing. Well, he's going to have to try and at least maintain some semblance that he's perhaps not. Well, he's not going to do what he did at a certain kinfolk's home.
Right. That's funny.
Although that was funny.
That was hilarious. This is so good.
Yeah, well, he's not as literally minded in this case. He's not got a certain Fiana telling him what to do. So he'll just call out and kind of like little dogs. The type of little whining that like dogs and I suppose wolves as well. They kind of make when they want
Yes.
attention. Yeah, so do that to try and get the attention of the Galliard of his tribe.
Yeah, so he hears some rustling around and this woman will pull the curtain back or the blanket, whatever. We'll pull it back. Um and she'll look down at the dog, and she'll kind of narrow her eyes a bit. Are you lost? And she has very much an American Southern accent.
Yeah. Max will take one last look over his shoulder just to see if there's anyone there before he'll then respond in human language. No, I am not Annie.
Oh, okay. Can I help you?
I don't want to be breaching the breaching the veil if human come.
Right. She'll pull the curtain back for him to go in. Inside, there's essentially a bed. Like, it's not an actual bed. It's like a pile of blankets and maybe like a foam mattress that she had found. Like, it's very much put together from things that she could find essentially in the trash. And she did happen to procure some sort of crib that there's this little tiny Krynos werewolf in. Go ahead and make me a perception alertness roll.
Let me check that. 2 successes. No, sorry, 3 successes. I forgot the -2 difficulty.
All right. So as he's looking around the room, and his eyes will then fall on the little menace. It's a high crib. So this little Garu isn't able to get out of it. It seems to be pretty chill right now. It's not like, making any noises or anything, but its deformity is pretty obvious. It's not. It is definitely blind, and it's not the fact that it has glazed over eyes or anything. It doesn't have any.
Oh dear.
Like, it doesn't have any eyes at all. It's just blank where its eyes should be.
Yeah, Max will be a little bit, and one part sad for the thing for having been born that way. It didn't ask to be born like that. And the other part will be kind of like, I see. And then he'll kind of wait for Annie to come in. He'll obviously like sit facing them, in whatever space he may have come in. But yeah, he'll wait until they've come in.
Yeah, she'll sit down next to the crib and kind of pet her baby. And it nuzzles her hand because it knows who she is, obviously. But it doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to be any sort of aggressive, despite being blind. It just seems to be very, very calm in her presence. Even in Max's presence, it's actually more curious than anything. Kind of like reaches out its little nose and starts sniffing. But she'll look to Max. I assume you're here because of... She'll point to Vilmetis.
Aye. Do you want me to be in Homid form?
It's up to you. I don't really mind either way. But she'll start to visibly become extremely nervous, and tears will form in her eyes.
Yeah, and Max he'll shift into Homid form. I've never actually found any good picture representation for Max's Homid form, but I think we can just imagine he's pretty much a bog standard Jakey, your homeless man. Sorry, just to use. I'll just throw in Scottish.
That's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah, Yeah, just like dude in a like a beige trench coat that well, it looks almost exactly kind of like the same situation that Annie is in.
Mm-hmm.
Bit disheveled, bit whatnot, but and he'll just kind of like then find a appropriate place to sit. He's like, "Do you want to explain to me how this happened?"
She gets a very grave look on her face, and this is where I will give a black dog trigger warning, because there will be an extremely sensitive topic being discussed from here on out. If you are uncomfortable with the topic of non-consensual things happening to people, then you should stop watching now. So she will look to him and she will say, I did not ask for this. It was not an act of losing myself in passion or anything like that.
Who was it?
I don't know his name. I didn't even know that he was like us until it was too late. It was just, I got violated just like any other woman would get violated, except mine carries major consequences.
Max will get up off of his seat. He'll relax back into Lupus before he'll come over to Annie. And
tears start to run down her face, like,
He will put one paw on their hand.
She'll like squeeze his paw. Like I said, I don't even know who it was. I don't.
Was he a member of... I know this is painful, but I have to ask, was he on Gaia's side or the worms?
That's not actually a question she had thought about before. I don't know that answer either. I don't know if maybe you can check her to find out.
What is their name?
I haven't named her yet because I didn't know if she'd be around very long.
Do you know what auspice they were born under?
Yes. I had her on the new moon.
They are an Arun.
No, new moon.
New moons. Oh, sorry. My mistake.
Which explains probably maybe the docile nature of the very low rage monster sitting in the crib.
Yeah, Max will nod his head.
I was thinking maybe if she was gonna be around for a while, I might name her Victory.
Victory is a good name. May I see them?
Of course. She'll pick her up.
Considering
she doesn't seem to have any qualms about picking up this menace in Hamid. despite the fact that she could claw the shit out of her. It doesn't matter to her.
I'm assuming that there is, besides the mutation of them not having any eyes, there's no like sign of any pure breed or anything like that, or anything that might distinguish the father's tribe.
No, there is not. Because if it was going to be a black spiral dancer, it would be pure breed 5, and that's no. We're not doing that.
Yeah, well, if there was any chance of there being pure breed for a black spiral dancer, bloody hell, we're going to be in trouble if there's a pure breed 5 black spiral dancer out there.
I know, right? Yeah, no, we're not going to do that right now.
No.
There's no.
Yeah, again, we're also assuming that it was a black spiral dancer, which, you know, at this point, Max is probably thinking of the worst situation. But
of course, and the fact
that
that she has no
situation,
idea.
like this, you know.
The fact that she has no idea, they didn't smell like anything that she would recognize, at least, like no discernible pure breed. So she, like she said, she didn't even, and she didn't know that they were Garu until she ended up pregnant with a Metis. So
yeah, Max will. I don't think he has any gift and help. No. He's only got scent of the true form. That's not really helpful in this matter.
What would be helpful would be the right of heritage.
Yes, which, unfortunately, I don't think I have that. No, I don't. I have plenty of punishment rights, but not enough mystery
right.
rights.
Well, maybe we should work on that later. But anyway.
Yeah, perhaps we will. But for now, yes, Max, upon inspecting the Metis, will then look towards Annie.
Again, she will sniff him curiously, but doesn't make any aggressive moves towards him or anything. She seems like, despite her deformity and state of being, seems like a normal, healthy baby, honestly. Like,
In fact, interesting thing I didn't actually ask to do. Would I need a perception plus empathy check to see if she's lying or bending the truth in any way?
Sure. Or if you have Truth of Gaia, you could use that too.
Unfortunately, I didn't think of getting that this downtime.
Well, I guess you've got something to get next time, don't you?
Indeed. Okay, so that's perception, empathy, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Or actually, give me a wits empathy. Would actually be better for intuition.
Okey-dokes. 2 successes, unless we're counting the 5. I don't imagine we are.
No. There doesn't seem to be any sort of embellishment in her story. She is telling the truth.
Max, now that he's thought about these things, I understand this is not the type of situation that you intended to find yourself in, and it may matter. You have my sympathy. I do have to ask, though, why keep them out here, outside of a cairn, outside of a sept?
Because I was afraid that nobody would listen and they would just kill us. I know that the alpha of the cairn is a Fianna Philodox, and he's not known for being very lenient sometimes.
I know. The Fianna nae are too happy about Metis. But no. We are all of the same tribe. I have one argument that I could make for this. I don't know too much about Homid religion, but I know that there's a saying, sins of the fathers. In this case, the sins of Victory's father should not be visited upon them. They need to blame.
She nods, and more tears. So do you want me to come to the sept with you?
I not lie to you, as we both are the same tribe, and I know that we're not exactly looked in high regard by the rest of the Gauru nation, but we still Gauru. If it means you need to take Victory and go to a friendly Bonno sept elsewhere to raise Victory, then that will be fine. If you're allowed to stay here and raise them, that is fine.
Okay. She nods. She seems to be trusting of Max.
The
Still,
litany must,
still a little skeptical, but mostly trusting.
the litany still requires that there be a punishment rite undertaken, but I would argue that the most severest one should not be done.
I would appreciate that.
If there is one thing that I can possibly do for Victory's sake and for your sake, is to make sure that at least until she is old enough to make decisions for herself, she will not become one of our enemy, as they will probably do if you do not find the safety of a cairn for them to be raised.
Okay. All right, because she's vulnerable for them to come take her.
Aye.
Okay.
Do you have a way to take them to the sept?
Well, yeah, I can step sideways. As far as I know, I can. Because she's Garu, I can take her with me because she's my child.
Then we must do that quickly before attention comes.
She'll pick her up and she'll take the few dedicated items that she has, a blanket for Victory and a bag, and we'll step sideways with Max, and indeed the Metis is able to go across with her.
Max will escort Annie and Victory back to the sept. Though he will howl ahead of, but once they get to the Bourne, the outskirts of the sept, they will. I think he might call upon the other bone gnawers first for assistance. Before he'll make necessary howls. Would he need to make howls of reintroduction?
He would need yeah, well, he would need to howl that he has a new person, a new Garu with him, and then she would need to introduce herself.
Yeah.
There will be a couple of Bonar Garu that have decided to stay on Sept. Greet them. I don't have any NPCs right now fleshed out, but we'll just say some random Bonars will come and greet them. And they'll see what they have with them.
Yeah. And sorry, Karen?
They will suggest the truth catcher.
Yeah, Max definitely agrees with that. Though he'll also kind of request anyone, if the truth catcher is not able to perform the rite of heritage, then he would request that they find someone who does know it.
The den mother will be called upon.
Okay.
So, I really need to subscribe to Minicam again so that I can, have more than 2 overlays up at once. I don't know, I'll just take hers down and put put hers up. Okay. So yeah, the truth catcher is Aileen O'Brien decides the destiny. She is a Athrophylodox viviana. She is known for being a bit more moderate leaning than the alpha. Though the alpha these days has been swayed to a bit more of the moderate side as well, but he could still be traditional. And then of course Dazzles the Young, the Den Mother. Both they take they lead the 3 of them to the heart of the cairn, is where that they decide that this will take place. It is the best place, the most safest place on Sept for this to happen. Destiny remains very skeptical. She doesn't allow anyone to speak until they get to the cairn heart. And then when they get there, she'll look to Max and she will say, "What is the situation here?"
Annie, this Gauru, encountered another Gauru. It was not consensual, and the result is the Metis child. Annie is not certain if the Gauru that did not consensually mate her was of Gaia or of the worm. I would argue that if through the rite of heritage we are able to discern the identity of the one that unconsensually mated Annie, that if he be of Gaia, then he be hunted and punished appropriately. If either way, the sins of the Metis child's father should not be delivered onto the child, as the circumstances are not warranting that they be punished for something they not do.
I see. I would. She looks to Annie for confirmation, and honestly asks. She will ask her to recount the details, which I will not go through again, but which she will do. And of course, Destiny has Truth of Gaia up. Very well. I'd be inclined to say that if the perpetrator was of the worm, perhaps our little one here would have set off the wards, as it would be also of the worm. So I don't think that we're dealing with that, which is honestly a blessing. But we do need to know who did it. And I would agree with you max power, that they should be hunted and brought to justice for what they've done to this innocent Garu and brought this unfortunate being into the world. She looks to the Metis child. It does not have eyes. That is troubling. She looks to Dazzles. I want your honest and professional opinion. Could this child survive and become productive member of our society, or would it just be more trouble than it's worth? Dazzles will swallow and look over the child. It does not seem to have any other hindrances. It's just blind. It doesn't have eyes. We can make sure that it wears a blindfold or sunglasses or something if it's going to be offset. Though not having any eyes at all is a rare deformity among humans as well. It's shocking to see, but I don't think that it would be overtly veil breaching. And she could learn how to be functional without sight. We have those wounded in battle all the time that lose their sight and are still able to keep fighting and keep being productive. So I don't see why she can't learn, especially since she was born this way. She won't know life any different. She won't know what it's like, but her other perceptions will heighten. She can still be part of our society and contribute, in my opinion. Annie will look to Dazzles very gratefully, and Destiny will just give a nod, considering the information. She'll look to Max. I'm assuming that this was given to you as some sort of challenge.
Aye.
What is your opinion of the little one? Do you
They
agree,
are
dead mother?
the little one, the Metis child, is no threat. They have innate curiosity. I was told they were born under the new moon. They will make for an interesting ragabash should they survive to coming of age, where they experience the first change. I would argue, though, if Alpha Raya, or if it is the common opinion that the Metis child not be reared in this sept, that Annie and the child be taken to a friendly Bone Nora sept to be raised.
As much as I respect my alpha and friend, Karen Donovan, I am the truth catcher, and my word will stand. I don't see any reason why these two should be removed from their home. They can stay, and Annie will receive the assistance of the den mother in raising this child.
The last thing, tradition, especially even amongst the Bone Noras, demands that the litany be upheld. Annie, though bearing of the Metis child is not fault of her own, it is still against Gaia and still requires punishment, right? However, I think, given circumstances, her punishment not be as severe as it would be for one where the act of creating metis was consensual.
Of course. She thinks for a moment. She doesn't actually want to punish her at all, but she does understand Max's point, which she'll say, I would tend to agree, although I don't necessarily want to punish her. I should, just on principle. Since my justification for this punishment, it is a I will give her the right of the jackdaw. It is used to normally punish those who have broken a promise of secrecy or the like. Because she kept this a secret and did not come straight to the sept, I believe that is where the punishment should lie. Not that she bore a metis of non-consensual means, but because she kept it a secret. So, I will perform right of the jackdaw. She will be humiliated, but only for a few moments.
Aye.
And as this is happening, I would like Max for you to accompany Dazzles to help her with the rite of heritage on little Victory, was it? And he will nod. Okay.
Okay, and he will take very studious notes, as it were. Hopefully finding some way of learning this ritual just by watching.
Yep. Yes, actually by watching and she's probably going to have him help, so you'll be able to roll to learn it in the scene if you would like.
Okay.
And you will get a -1 difficulty for having a teacher. So so they will go to they're on the other side of the Karen Heart. The Karen Heart's pretty big. On the other side of the Karen Heart is a ritual space, and they will go over to there and let me find Rite of Heritage so that I can do this properly for narrative purposes.
I'm looking at it right now. It's on
It is
page
a
211 of the PDF.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at there it is. The RP Portal archives. It's a lot easier for me to. Okay, so Rite of Heritage. Okay, so there, she will get out the things that she needs, which is a very simple. It's honestly very simple. She gets out a bowl that is like glass, and she goes to this locked cabinet and extracts a silver ritual knife. And she will have Max, if he's not in, is he still in Hamid or no?
Lupus.
He's in Lupus.
I
So
think
she
that
will.
was the last form he was in.
She will ask Max to shift to Hamid.
And he will?
I need you to hold her, or Glabro, actually. I need you to hold her steady and still. She's going to cry. She might thrash, but I have to cut her with this silver knife, and this is going to be the first type of this pain that she's ever experienced. It will be jarring. But I need her blood so that I can perform the rite.
Aye. And he'll go up to Glabra, and then he'll try and restrain the poor little Metis as best he can.
Yeah, she knows that there's something happening, and she gets a bit agitated. She actually
He'll try and like comfort her by licking her face and whatnot, but
yeah. But Dazzles will take the little one's hand, and she'll actually like rub it to try and soothe her a bit. And she sings very softly to her and to the ancestor spirits as she's doing this as well. But the song seems to calm her a bit. But as she draws the knife over her palm, because that is on a metis, that is really the only place that she can get it from. The little cub howls in pain and draws her hand back and will actually accidentally claw Max a little bit. But she manages to get some blood on the knife, and she drips it into the bowl. And she then I will go ahead and make her wits rituals roll for this, just to see how many questions she gets. Because you make a standard wits rituals roll, and the number of successes determines the six. Well, you need one success for it to be successful, and then you get to ask the ancestors questions based on, and how many questions is based on how many successes you get. So one success is one question, so on and so forth. If you fail the roll, you can roll again at a higher difficulty. If you botch, well, then that's interesting. You get some very wrong information. So her.
Do you want me to roll as well?
You can roll to learn it. Yeah. Roll your intelligence plus rituals, that the difficulty of 10 minus your intelligence plus another 1 for having a teacher.
Oh yes. What, an extra dice or a -1?
It's a -1 difficulty. Yeah.
All right. So 5. That's intelligence rituals. That's 5. It'd be difficulty 6, I think. No, sorry. It's 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, it'd be difficulty 6 max. Can I spend a willpower point for this? Because I think
sure. Yeah.
Okay. I needed 2. That's 2 successes.
All right. You just needed 1, but good thing. So, yep. And then, oh, wow. That is crazy. She failed. I'm going to do it again. Okay, she got 1 success, which is all we really need. She just needs to ask who the father is. So,
who's your daddy?
Well, actually, yeah. So since she performed the rite successfully, and you got a success on the rite, you got 2 successes on learning it, then you definitely successfully learn it. And so she seems to take a few minutes, and Max will catch that she furrows her brow just a little bit, because, when she first failed, and then she just kind of like shakes her head, recenters herself, takes a deep breath, and starts singing again, this time a little bit louder. And then she smiles as she seems to have tapped into the ancestors this time. And she's going to ask just who the father of this Metis child is. And she'll say, and if you would care to tell us the tribe, I would not be opposed to learning that information as well. But I just really want to know who it is. And and the ancestors will give her an answer. And during the rite of heritage, when you're asking the ancestors the question, it actually takes place inside your head.
Mhm.
So like Max doesn't hear any of this going on, but he can see that she's having a conversation inside her head. And then she'll open her eyes and she'll look to Max and she'll say, I got an answer. The good news is it was not a black spiral dancer. But the bad news means that it was a Gaian werewolf, Gaian Garu, that did this to her.
Was he a member of the Sit?
No, I don't believe so. I've never heard of this person before, but his tribe is very interesting.
What tribe did he come from?
The ancestors saw fit to tell me that he was a Get of Fenris, which means this did not happen here in Dublin. This happened somewhere else. And she came to Dublin after. Perhaps she was on vacation, on a mission, something, but it did not happen here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right?
Right.
And she'll say the name that I will come up with later because I have no idea. But I'll come up with the name and deed name and everything, all the information of this now target
Yes.
later, and it's fun plot
Yes.
for later on. Like,
And he will deserve more than just a fierce balking.
but the good news is that he didn't have high enough pure breed, or obviously didn't have any pure breed because the child does not smell like a Get of Fenris. Well,
That's true.
if anybody, yeah, no, the child doesn't smell like anything. Like, there's no discernible pure breed. So this Get of Fenris may not have been born a Get of Fenris, or just it wasn't any pure breed Get of Fenris. Could have been a very, very low bloodline or whatever, but no Get of Fenris pure breed. So that's an interesting twist too. But the tribe that the father belongs to is Get of Fenris.
Low pure breed and a low life. Right. Plot thickens. But either way, Max has proven that he is a good boy.
He has. And Dazzles will say to him, I will take care of this one if you would like to go back to Bailey, because I know that this is your challenge. I believe that you've completed it very well, but we'll see what Bailey has to say.
And Max will then, he'll do the shepherd again. I should go, and then go. But not before he goes, though. He will give the wolf hugs to Annie and Victory.
Yes. And Victory seems to like Max a lot. She'll nuzzle him. Her wound has already healed because metas regenerate very fast. And can soak silver in all forms. So,
Really?
Yes, that is the thing with metas, is that they can soak silver in all forms. That is like their upside, not just their breed form. They can soak it in all
silver in any form. But I'll take your word for it. Yes, after he's given the appropriate wolf hugs, he'll then scoot his way over to Quiet Voice of Reason. Are they still in the garden pulling up weeds?
Actually, well, yeah, he probably went back to pulling weeds. So,
okay, then he'll go up to the wall again, put his two paws on the top of it, and say, "You still pulling weeds?"
1 second, let me put his overlay back up. He looks down. Yeah. I was still pulling weeds. I see that you're back. He'll stand up.
Right.
And this obviously took most of the day. I would say it's like sunset now. This started like late morning and it's sunset now. Um, how did it go?
Can I come in? Max will
Of
hop over
course.
the wall and do the exact same routine that he did to get close to a quiet voice of reason as he did before. Before he'll just sit and look up at quiet voice of reason. We found Annie and the Metis child. The Metis child was conceived through unconsensual mating. We decided that the child was not to blame. Annie was given a punishment right, not as severe as one would give for a consensual mating between two Gauru. The right of heritage was done on the child. The child's father is Gaian, and they are get a Fenris, not one on the Sipt.
People likes, well, no, because get offenders aren't allowed here.
No. So I done as was tasked to me.
You did. Very good job. I can't say that I would have handled it any differently. You have shown that you understand what it means to be a Philodox, that you do understand human emotions and conditions. And so therefore I recognize you as Postern of the nation. Congratulations. I will make a howl in a little while.
Aye. Thank you, quiet voice of reason.
He will reach down and scratch him behind the ears.
And Max will graciously accept that. Pinches it or is welcome. It's not just Pounce that gets them.
Right. Nope. Bailey likes to give all lupus scritches. Like, he knows he likes them when he gives them lupus, so but yeah. So I think with that we can end the scene. So thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We will see you next time. Bye bye.